Hey gang, Tom DeLonzo Baker here with Total Motion Release Seminars, and I got Dean Volk with right behind you. Go check it out, sciaticareliefnow.net. And Dean, I've got on here because I'm trying to do a series of people that are using TMR and sharing with you how they started, all right, how they transitioned through where they were, which you're going to hear Dean. Dean's got a great story, and then where they're at now and where they plan to go. Because one of the things is I want to point out is that a lot of times you guys take continuing education and it's just to help the person. And then we want to realize that, wow, I can help more people. And wait a second, in this day and age, you can get online and do stuff. And so it doesn't have to be a goal. It can be used for certain parts of it. But I'm trying to take people to the outliers. I think we need hope and inspiration that you too can be like a Dean, but it hasn't been an easy road. Okay. But let's just hear about Dean's road as far as it goes. So, Dean, you can share a little bit of your story of how and why did you take TMR, and then what happened once you'd taken TMR. You've got a good testimony you've given me before. You can kind of run through that quick, and we'll just kind of stop there. Is that you took TMR for one reason, maybe got something out of it, started using it. Tell us about that.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. My story starting TMR is not very glamorous. It's like most PTs. I took TMR because it was a 45-minute drive from my house. I didn't have to fly anywhere. I saved a bunch of money because I was able to drive up to Salisbury,
I'm
North
going to interrupt
Carolina.
you. I'm going to interrupt you. There was never a time that you took TMR because you wanted to be an online clinician, was there?
There was never a time that I wanted to be I never thought of being an online clinician. I'm an old timer. So no, not even a thought. I
Okay.
took TMR because I had to have continuing education courses to keep up my North Carolina license, and you were the closest thing available that I found. And I think it was towards the end of the year, and I was scrambling. So, hey, a 45-minute drive was not a bad thing. And I got to tell you, I almost walked out after the first 5 minutes because I don't know if you remember, but we were in the Salisbury outpatient setting in the hospital, I think it was.
Yeah.
And you started off the seminar by saying everything you've done in physical therapy, I want you to throw it out the window because I want to retrain you.
I'm a
And I
little
had
I'm a little kinder about that now. I just simply
yes,
it
you've
all
changed quite a bit.
it relates now rather than yes, throw it out.
Yes, and when I heard that, all I was thinking of was the different courses that I had taken that I would leave so discouraged because we sort of moving our hands over someone's body and taking their energy and flicking them into the outlets and then pulling the power out of the outlets.
Hold that thought. I just realized my computer's not hooked up to my electric so it's about ready to die. So give me 1 second, man.
No problem.
And so Dean, you were saying that you went in, I said something, you went to take the course. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So you started the course out by saying everything you've ever done in therapy, throw it out the window. I want to retrain you. And that's when the hair on the back of my neck goes up because I had gone to a Jeffrey Maitland course early in my career, thinking, how can you not go to a Jeffrey Maitland course? Come to find out, it wasn't the Jeffrey Maitland. It was a Rolfer Jeffrey Maitland who was working on teaching us how to maneuver people's facial bones around. And I was working with a friend of mine, Steve Cush, and I'm going, you feeling anything? He goes, nope. And we've just joked the whole time because we just thought it was absolutely strange. Anyway, I took the course and honestly felt some changes when I would test and retest, and we were going over things all weekend. But as I was driving back to my clinic, I'm thinking, how in the
So when
world?
you're talking because I want to make sure you weren't talking the Jeffrey Maitland course. You were talking this course when you took
Your course. Yes. Your course. Sorry. Yes. The Jeffrey Maitland course was just
yeah,
the reminder of
yeah,
the
gotcha.
shock of, do I really want to be here?
Right.
So as I'm driving back after the first TMR course, I started thinking, how can I start treating people this way, which is really 180 degrees opposite of what I had personally been doing because I always try to mobilize, stretch, and dig on that painful side and get the restrictions moving because my clients would either think I was mistreating them previously or I'm mistreating them now. So thought popped into my head as I'm going back, hey, the first person who comes in as a new client, I'm going to try this on and see if it works. And if it does, great, I'll have something else in my tool chest. If it doesn't, maybe I'll try it here and there.
So those might be watching that don't know. I mean, basically, Dean is saying he used to treat traditionally, which is treating endo restriction, the area of injury, doing everything into, things that don't work. And all of a sudden he learned the 180 degrees was go to anything in the body that works well. And that's when he said, hey, I'm going to be doing a service or a disservice to the people. And when do I start? So go ahead.
Yeah. So 10 o'clock the next morning, I've got a 16-year-old high school soccer player who comes in holding right above his kneecap. He went to an orthopedic surgeon friend of mine right up the street. Orthopedic surgeon said, look, you've got a torn quadriceps tendon. You can't play soccer for 6 to 8 weeks. So he comes to me and says, Dean, I've got a tournament in 2 weeks. I'm the leading scorer on my high school team. I've got to be out on the field. What can you do? And I looked at him, and I will call him Jeff. It wasn't his name, but Jeff, 6 to 8 weeks for a torn quadriceps tendon. The doctor was being very kind to you. That's how long it takes to heal, not to be able to play again. I said, but let me try a couple things. So I literally, he also said, don't touch it. It's on fire. And he had his hand wrapped around right above his kneecap, and it was bent at about 30 degrees. He hobbled in. I sat him on a table. I held his ankle so his knee remained at 30 degrees, and I had him do some trunk rotations. He was massively out of balance. I had him go to his looser side, 2 sets of 25, like I learned in the course. And then I made up my own thing. I had him lay down on his back. I put a pillow underneath his bad knee. I had him do 3 sets of 10 or 2 sets of 25. I can't remember exactly. The straight leg lifts, 3 pounds on his good ankle. He goes, that's my good ankle. I said, do you want me to put on your bad ankle? He goes, no, I wouldn't be able to do it. I said, good. So work with me. So I did that, just thinking, all right, I'm going to give Tom his dues. I tried. And lo and behold, the kid stood up and looked at me, and I don't talk like this, but he looked and goes, what the hell did you do to me? I go, what's wrong? He goes, my burning's gone. I go, what do you mean your burning's gone? He said, my knee doesn't hurt. And I said, yeah, I started laughing. I went, knock it off. And then he went down into a squat. Then he started jumping. Then he started running. Then he started sprinting around my clinic. I was, can I go play soccer? And literally, this is what I did.
That's great.
I sat there dumbfounded. My trainer took her elbow, slammed in my chest. She goes, what did you do? And I go, I don't know. And I was just thinking, all right, I gave Tom guff all weekend going, this is so stupid, challenged him on everything. And he finally, during the course, and during the course, he goes, Dean, look, just try these things first before you ask, because you may get half your answers just by doing them. So this kid leaves. I said, he said, can I go play soccer? I said, go back to Dr. Ward up the road. I'm not putting you on the soccer field. That's my butt on the line. So he leaves. I just grab my phone. Tom, this is Dean. He goes, Dean. He goes, oh, I remember you. I go, yeah, I'm sure you do. And I told him the story of what I just told. And he's laughing hysterically. And I'm going, what the heck just happened? And he goes, Dean, welcome to my world. I go, no. What just happened? He goes, look, I've got somebody else. I've got somebody coming in. Just start practicing. Everybody's your guinea pig. Just have fun. Click. And that was the end of the conversation. And so I started doing a movement here or there with people. And I got to say, in all honesty, I've had 4 times in the last 15 years where that kind of dramatic flip happened on somebody. It was just one of those mind-boggling, jaw-dropping from can't do anything to all of a sudden everything's fine. It doesn't happen like that all the time, but I was getting anywhere from 50 to 70% relief on my initial visits once I started implementing total motion release, which obviously led me to take TMR2, TMR3, and then dry needling from TMR because, hey, if TMR works, maybe TMR kneeling will work. But I was disappointed that we actually went directly into the muscles that were sore instead of doing the opposite side. We have a new one, but it's masterdryneedling.com is the company. And we actually now go away from it. That's in level 2 and some in level 3. What's actually funny about the dry needling, I've had a couple patients where I said, can I just try something with you? And they said, sure, what do you want to try? I said, I want to do the exact opposite side and just see what happens. And they got the same response as if I went directly in. Yeah, it took me a while to get my instructors to buy into we can needle other places. Yeah. And now they're all bought into it. So Dean, that's really cool. So, give me the idea of you practice, and all this stuff is crazy happening. But then there was something that you somehow got online, right? You all of a sudden looked at what you're doing and probably repeating over and over and over the exact same things on every single person. But something took you why, how did you go from, all right, you're in the clinic doing this,
and then you, yeah, tell us how you
All
trained.
right. I will try to condense a long story, but I had 3 clinics in Charlotte, sold one of them to a friend, had 2 clinics in Charlotte, and both my second son wanted to go to College of Charleston with my first son. And to save 50% in tuition, my wife and I got a small apartment in Charleston, South Carolina. So I was commuting from Charlotte to Charleston, trying to get people to cover my office, trying to find directors. And so there were 2 times in 7 years that I spent 6 months with my wife full time in Charleston. And as I did that, I built a cash practice. And one day when I was just walking to an office that I was renting, I was just thinking about what do people online say about sciatica? So I started looking online. And honestly, by the time I got to my office, I was so confused from all the different things. Obviously, you do the McKenzie press ups. Obviously, you do core strengthening. Obviously, you do cat camel and all these stretches to their painful side. And then I went onto Facebook groups and I started cringing, going, there's got to be a simple way to help these people. So, not being the tech genius, I know how to use Google, and I said, how do I start a Facebook group? Watched a YouTube video, started a Facebook group, invited my wife and a wife and 2 friends, started the Facebook group, and then just watched it. People started wanting to join, and I started talking with them, which led me to do free webinars on Saturdays when I was free.
So,
And my group,
what's the name of the group so people can know
the
that?
name of my original group is Sciatica and Piriformis Syndrome Relief Group.
Sciatica Piriformis and Relief Group.
Yes, and we just passed 15,200 members. It's been up for a little over 4 years. So it's obviously gained a lot of momentum. And through the first year of me having it, it was like a part-time side hustle. I would do a webinar on the weekend and everything was free. I was doing free consults with people all over the world. And mostly I was doing it so I can hit the click record button and get testimonials from people just to give me some validity online, because I know how skeptical people can be. And so that's how it started.
And Dean started with, you gave what, a year's worth of free treatments out to people, wasn't it?
I did. It was at least a year, because I was so busy between going back and forth. I honestly was not thinking that this was going to become what it is now. I was just thinking, hey, let me help people online, get a name for myself in the sciatica world online so that I can help people and have a platform. But I was not thinking as large as I am now, going, hey, you know what? We can actually do more with this. I had a friend say, why don't you write a book that'll give you instant credibility? So I wrote a book, and here it is. Real tough name, Sciatica Relief Now. And it just so happened a month after I started this online stuff, my wife woke up with sciatica out of the blue. I thought she was kidding me. I even laughed when she told me it hurt from her butt to her heel. And so I worked with her, and within 2 weeks, she was back walking 8 miles a day. And I'm going, all right, I know that sort of solidified me, going, really good. I can make a go of this.
And what made it so easy to do? I mean, what made it so different? What made it so be that you felt like you had finally given something that's worthwhile?
Well, the way I systematize the way I do TMR, which is different than yours. I know you always say we've bastardized TMR.
It's a concept. The TMR is a concept.
The TMR concept I took and was able to utilize to help people. I basically started telling people, don't stretch or dig on your painful side. And that was revolutionary to some people. They go, what are you talking about? Everybody's telling me to stretch the painful side. I go, how's it working for you? You go, it's killing me. I said, all right, stop doing it.
I just saw one of your videos today or something. And one of the comments was, man, I just stopped stretching, like you said, and I don't have pain anymore. And that was as simple as it was. So that was really cool.
And I mean, there were people who have been dealing with this for years. I had a lady who had piriformis syndrome for 20 years, was getting injections every 4 to 6 months, had a doctor, I'm not going to say his name, but he told her the only way you will be pain-free is if I remove that muscle for you. And I begged and pleaded with her, and she fought and fought. There's nothing you can do. I've been to every physical therapist. I've been to chiropractor. I do this. I said, look, I'm having an 8-week course. You're in it. I'm not even going to charge you for it because I know that I can help you. And she is one of my biggest fans now, because after week 6, she was going, I'm about 85% better. And I'm not even taking my meds anymore. And I said, awesome, you're going to get even better. And she's had 2 flare-ups in the last 4 years because she did some excessive lifting and significantly more than she's done previously. But she goes back, does the exercise, and boom, she's back to 99 to 100% again.
And so basically, he said he not only got a Facebook group, but then he said, "Hey, how can I monetize it?" I know kind of his evolution here. He started charging $25 for his first consult visit, and now he's $50. I'm not sure what are you. Is that what you still do now?
I still do 50 for the initial consult because I learned that if somebody is going to be a client of mine, they have to have a little skin in the game. And when I was giving everything away for free, um, everybody expected everything for free. And then I moved it to $25. My calls went down a little bit, but then when they started picking up to the point of where I was too busy in my downtime, I said, all right, I got to move it to $50 because I'm being overwhelmed. And now I can't say that I'm busy with $50 calls, but I have an online course that I put together. Somebody online said, hey, why don't you put this together in a course and you could sell it?
Yeah.
And so
What made it easy to be able to do? Because like, see, guys, we teach these concepts, and I have motions that go through. They're called the Fab Six, and Super Six. Very easy for somebody to take and then create online courses with, right? And they can put it in whatever order they want or whatever motions they want to do. But the concept sits there with them. So, Dean, you got there and you're doing this stuff, and I want you guys to realize is that he knows that when he's doing on the Facebook that he's going to wow them because nobody out there is doing not stretching or doing the good sided stuff. So he instantly gets he takes a session and he knows he's going to get 50 to 70% improvement. So he knows from there they're going to love it. Before he was just now he had a testimonial. He didn't have anything else to offer them to monetize that part of it. And then he realized, hey, I can go ahead and go forward and start some courses on it. Is that
I
correct?
did. And yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the TMR concepts and what I learned from you, there wouldn't be a course because I wouldn't know where to start. I would do everything that that I was doing previously. And I'll be honest, before I took
Uh-oh, wait, you went out a second.
TMR, I was getting about 20% success rate with my sciatica clients doing, okay.
No, that's good. You're back on. There's
Okay. Before TMR, I was getting about 20% success rate with my sciatica clients. And I had considered myself a fairly decent manual therapist. I took so many courses from Australian techniques to Syriacs to, I was doing so many things manually, and I was doing everything we were taught in school with the press ups, the core staves, the stretches, the cat camel, rolling on a tennis ball. Everything that I despise now is what I was doing. And literally through the first 2 years of practicing the TMR approach with my sciatica clients in my clinic, my success rate went from about 20% up to 95 to 98%. And so I realized, hey, when I started doing the course, I'm going, all right, I don't have to make this difficult because I have the TMR concepts. I'm going to teach people how to test different motions, decide which of their side is their looser, more comfortable, less restricted side, or what I like to call the LML side, and have them work their LML side and then go back and reassess. So it was all the TMR principles that I learned that I put into my course. And obviously, I actually did call and talk to Tom and said, look, this is what I'm going to do. Is this okay with you? Because I don't want to any type of copyright. I didn't want any type of friction between us because I knew this is what he does. And he was totally fine with it. And yeah, if it wasn't for TMR, there would be no sciatica relief now because I wouldn't know how to start.
yeah, and he'll tell you. We were talking before this is that when you start doing TMR, whether you pick some different motions or what I picked, you're repeating yourself over and over and over again. So it's so simple to sit there and go, I can put that in the course easy enough. And what's neat, it's different than just thinking of it as a course. You know, somebody can go through that course and they're getting spit back the exact same thing you would be saying to them. Well, they're in your presence. That's what's the crazy part. And the thing is, Dean knows this, but it wouldn't even have to be with sciatica. The person could go through with a different condition. They're learning, even if he's doing sciatica relief now, if they have shoulder pain later on, they know that's the same thing that they can do, which is kind of crazy that a course, his course can, then fix whatever they run through, right? Whatever they run into through the day. So that's, yeah, kind of crazy as far as that goes.
Yeah, I actually tell people, I say, look, this is more than just a course and it's more than just exercise because I do talk about breathing techniques, expressive writing, and I bring in sort of a holistic approach. But what I do tell them is, hey, you know what? Any musculoskeletal problem in your body that does not require surgery, like if there's nothing torn and there's no fractures, these exercises will get you the results that you want without needing to have to see me, to see another PT, to see a chiropractor or a doctor. Not that I tell them that they can't do that, but my focus with a lot of my clients is I want to be able to teach you and empower you to know how to train and treat yourself through, and it's all through the TMR principles, so that you don't need me later on. And everybody says that's a bad business way to do things because you're pushing people away. I go, yeah, but if I can push 2 or 3 people away who get amazing results, those 2 or 3 people are going to tell, hey, 10 or 12 other of their friends who get injured, hey, you want to learn how to take care of this for good? Go see Dean. So,
and that's what you guys will notice it is we talk to more and more people. We're in it because we got into this to help people what? Got into this profession to help people help themselves. But Dean and I both were really awesome manual therapists, right? And then we got to a point that, and we love it, we love that part of it. But then we saw that we could do profound changes anywhere, and somebody could even pick up the phone and call us and do that stuff. So it was neat. And Dean, I'm going to ask you another question: is that so you went online, you got the business going, you now have courses that are teaching. Did you get any pushback of hey, it's just a course, or what kind of things when the people started going through the course? Because I know one of the anxieties with other people who've gone through this is that, oh my God, how can I let go me not treating somebody and just putting them through a course? Because that is our mentality. It's got to be in front of us. What was it like when the first time somebody went through the course, not even seeing you, and they got better? And can you talk a little bit about
it still gives me the chills to go, hey, you know what? Somebody can go through my course and not even need me. What I'm finding is obviously that people are going to run into issues and say, wait, this exercise isn't doing. And so I started selling package deals where I would say, hey, you know what? You buy 6 sessions with me up front, which at the time was $1,200. So $200 a 30-minute session. You buy 6, you get my course for free. What I found was that 95% of the people who bought these 6 sessions did not call me once, did not set up a meeting with me once. And I'm going, wow, I can actually charge a lot more, thinking that they're getting all this care, but then they never even use it. So it was mind-boggling to me going, hey, you know what? We get so set in a clinical mindset where we have to exchange minutes for money. And hey, we're getting $40 an hour, $50 an hour, $60, so I have to produce this much. And I'm like going, wait a second. I just literally sold a $1,200 package, and I haven't seen this person once, but I obviously put the work in previously with my online course. So they're getting everything they need on the online course, and they're giving me $1,200 for it. It's crazy. So it's a whole shift in the mindset. But yes, it's number one, it's freeing to know that, hey, they don't have to depend on me. I've already done the work. And if they put in their time to watch, study, and realize what I've given them, they are going to be taken care of musculoskeletally for life.
And Dean's doing an amazing thing on his group because he's got 15,000 people in his Facebook group, and he gives, right? And he knows there's going to be a certain amount of people that just aren't going to come around, right? And there's going to be other people, because he's got some amazing testimonials. Are they going to come up and go, man, I want it now, faster. I don't want to just keep doing these little bitty pieces. And then he's got the diehards. One lady writes in every time you write something, several people. And so where do you see yourself taking this now? Because I've watched you grow from nothing to 15,000. And we've talked over the years about how you've changed your monetizing things, and what does a picture look like from somebody, again, who's coming from the clinic model, I've got to treat one. As far as your feel now of how many more people can you help? What is your target of trying to say how many people with sciatica? Could you ever have done that one-on-one, one person after another person? And I don't know, just to kind of talk about how that feels or
Yeah, well, I wrote it. I've said it multiple times. My goal is I want to be able to help 100,000 people before I retire. And being 55 years old, I can't tell you how many I've helped. It's probably close to 10,000 by now. So I got a long way to go. But with the courses and with what I'm doing online, I mean, I'm reaching obviously 15,000 people in my group, and then a couple administrators of a couple other sciatica groups saw what I was doing, saw how I cleaned up my group from all the herbal doctors who heal everything from lupus to syphilis to sciatica. I got them out of the groups, and so they asked my help to help me clean it up. So I'm actually working with 3 different groups, have about access to about 60,000 people who are dealing with
wow,
sciatica.
wow,
So
that is so cool. I didn't realize that. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so it's
you're
well, there's a
close.
lot of overlap in the groups, but I have that much accessibility to people. Obviously, most of these people can't afford anything, so I'm happy to help give them some things that they can glean from and take and use for free. But obviously, there's going to be a number of people who, like yesterday, a lady heard about me on a different page. Somebody from a different page said, "You need to talk to Dean Volk." She looked me up. She looked up my YouTube page. She looked up my website, and we got on a call. And she said, "Look, I know I'm going to be buying something from you. I just need to figure out what level I want to jump in." And literally, she was my first $2,400 client, which is a 10-week program where I meet with her once a week for a half hour. And then I have 2 hours set aside during the week for group sessions for people who buy in my gold and platinum level. So, yeah,
I want to see what he said. He does groups also online, so he's not afraid to treat multiple people at once too, right?
and what's amazing is most of the time you're going to get people in a group that number one are shy, number two don't really want to ask that question, and somebody else who's very vociferous will ask the questions and will get the answers, and everybody will be doing similar type of movements, and everybody can benefit from watching one person or listening to one person ask the question. Because with sciatica, even though there's many causes, even though the symptoms vary massively one person to the next, it's the same problem to me. It's a matter of your body compensating, being out of balance, stressing the area that's a problem. And okay, how do we balance it out? Well, you do it through different movements, TMR approach, balancing out the imbalances, and watching people's faces right before you just go, wow, that feels so much better. So,
Well, Dean, I also want to say this is he and I were talking beforehand. Is it so he wanted 100,000, right? He's got 60,000 with these 3 groups sitting there right now, and he's got the potential to work with another multi-million-dollar company. You don't have to talk about that, but because of where he sits and what he's done, they went and researched him, and then came to him. So being out there now puts him at a status that is like he's not looking for that kind of stuff, and that's what's really neat when you're out there because he really can help so many more. So I just you may appreciate what TMR gave to you, but I appreciate what now you're taking TMR concept and putting it out there because my goal when I got going was everybody needs to know this because it's nothing anybody knows. They are massively hidden blind spots. So I'm grateful for you taking this out to more people because like I say, I could never do this alone. And so those of you watching this is that, my important thing getting for you guys to get out of this is that Dean took something that if you take this stuff, if you take the TMR, you're gonna say, what else can I do with it? And Dean will be leading the way, right? Dean will be showing you what he's done and how he's done it. And it hasn't been easy. And we hope to have, you on again and stuff like that, Dean. But is there anything you want to close out with and say is to others who may be at a point in time of going, there's a lot of cash based out there. You're a different kind of cash based. You're also online. You're not still working the hamster wheel of one patient after another. And maybe the way that feels, and then kind of put it all together and say what it's meant to you to be able to do what you do the way you do it. And also, that it's not all rainbows and lollipops too.
definitely not all rainbows and lollipops. I mean, my wife and I sit down and strategize all the time. And she's actually the brains behind the business. I got to give her the kudos. And if it wasn't for you, we could not be doing what we were doing because unless someone else would have come up with TMR, I mean, I am eternally grateful, seriously, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart because the processes, the systems, the way you've put it together, even though I don't follow it to a T the way you do it, I took the principles and it was life changing for me. And I didn't realize it until I went online. I mean, I was watching the benefits for the my clients in my clinic, and like I said before, I sort of jumped into the Facebook group. I didn't think of, hey, I'm going to have an online business one day with this, but there is no way I can have an online business doing what I'm doing if I didn't have the background of the TMR and have watched it for the past 12 to 15 years in my clinic work so well. So, number one, I owe you a debt of gratitude. But number two, it's it's exciting to see where this can go. And Tom alluded to it, but some network or some affiliate marketers got in touch with me literally 5 days ago and said, "Hey, you are the only person doing what you're doing. We would love to be able to partner with you and basically sell everything for you." And I went, sure. Hey,
Yeah.
let's see where it can go. And I'm not getting my hopes way up, but it's an exciting time to
Terrific.
go, hey, you know what? If it works, it'll be amazing. If it doesn't work, hey, you know what? I'm still going to be fine. So, yeah, it's been life changing. It's been amazing. I know Charlie has done a lot of similar things and probably on a bigger scale at this point.
You're the
But
Facebook guy. He's been the YouTube guy. We'll talk about him later. Would you give some
okay,
idea? Would you give him some idea? Because a lot of times I do see people out there and they make like they're doing some stuff and maybe they're making money and they're not. And so kind of like the talk of, hey, here's where I came from. Here's what I used to make a month. This is how much time I used to spend. Here's kind of, if you don't mind sharing what you are and where you'd like to go to, and we'll kind of round it out at that.
okay. My ultimate goal is I want to be making about $50,000 a month, working 20 hours a week, and I'm heading in that direction. Where I am, where I started, it was tough getting going. It was tough getting your system. It's like any business. You got to get your systems and your processes all together. And then once you get that, you got to get your marketing message. You got to get your avatar. It's a normal business, but to a much wider audience and a much, put it this way, I have much more reach right now than I did when I owned my 3 clinics in Charlotte, North Carolina. I can reach more people. I can affect more people's lives. And everybody goes, Dean, are you licensed in every state? How do you do this? And someone, some prominent person in the PT field told me, look, if you're a consultant online, you're a consultant online. And I'll leave it at that. If you have a problem with that, talk to a lawyer, do what you need to do to feel comfortable if that's what you want to do. But where I'm headed is I want to be known as a sciatica relief guy around the world.
And
And go ahead.
no, I was going to say you were saying about the part is remember, guys, he's not diagnosing a single person. Also, so again, but again, it's always about your comfort level of where you're
Right.
at. He doesn't diagnose, and that's what
I'm
we.
not diagnosing. I'm not doing a full-fledged PT assessment or evaluation. I obviously assess people's movements, or I have them assess their own movements because they're basically giving me the feedback. When you take TMR, you realize they're the ones who are telling you what's good, what's bad. You're not telling them. You're just telling them this is the exercise I want you to do. So
Dean's got so there's a TMR recipe. Dean has taken that recipe and kind of changed up some, but again, you guys will see that the recipe is the recipe no matter what. He's done it with other motions. So, Dean, I want to finish off with saying to this is that, gang, I want more Deans. I don't see competition. I see as there's too many people out there with pain, and I want to help people see that TMR can, if Dean's what you'd like to be, right out there online, that's awesome. If you want to do it in the clinic and stuff, you want to go wherever, I'd love to see you. And Dean knows I'm here to help so much. Well, I'll tell you the other way around. Dean is here to help so much um, on that side. So I really try to get with people that we really are sharing kind of people, right? We're all caregivers as far as that goes. We're really usually very giving of our time and stuff like that. So Dean, I just want to say thanks. We've been buddies forever, and I can't thank you enough for trusting in this process and doing what you do and helping a hell of a lot more people with it. Because it's my one tagline is I want you're awesome, and you just got made more awesome, and now you're helping other people become more awesome. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. And obviously, like I said, appreciate all you've given to me and the wisdom of TMR. So,
All right, gang. Thanks for Dean Volk. Go at sciaticreliefnow.net. And then again, sciatica and piriformis syndrome
from Relief Group.
relief group. Cool. Dean, thanks a lot, buddy.
My pleasure.